Everything is bigger in Texas, and tonight this is especially true when it comes to a strong finishing position. Cause just 3 races remain in the 2018 SSCA Sim Speed Shop Truck Series, and we're getting set to watch the Lefty 200 unfold live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi everyone, I'm Samuel Ryman, and alongside me in the booth is Sean Ambrose. Our director Joe Peak is doing all of the button pushing from behind the scenes, and he's using camera sets provided by Dougie Beard. Sean, we've gone from a 2.66 mile super speedway at Talladega to a half-mile short track at Martinsville. Now we're back at a regular 1.5 mile speedway here in Texas. But these drivers shouldn't start breathing a sigh of relief yet. This is still a tricky one.
Sam, it is tricky. There's actually some pretty tricky spots on this track. One of them's going into turn 1 in the middle of the track. That's not where you want to be. Certainly not at full speed. Getting off at turn 2, trickiest spot on the track. And a really, really hot track today is going to make it very tricky for every driver here in the Sim Speed Shop Truck Series. Sam, they opened this track in Denton County, Fort Worth, Texas, 1997. You know, there's a lot of great things in Denton, Texas, Denton County, the University of North Texas, Fat Shack, a personal favorite eatery of mine when I'm in the Denton area. But this track, 1.5 miles of banking. Sam, is 24 degrees banking there in 3 and 4, and just about the same down in 1 and 2. But again, getting off of turn 2 is going to be the hardest part for all these tracks today, for all these trucks under these conditions. The hot track. You know, the track is host to 2 Monster Energy Cup Series races and a couple truck races every year. They combine them with the Indy cars. It's a lot of fun. It's a great weekend. But the best way to get an idea what this place is like is to jump on board for a lap around Texas Motor Speedway.
Hello, I'm James Krahula, and I'm going to take you for a lap around the virtual Texas Motor Speedway in the GSRC Silverado. Everything is bigger in Texas, and so are the speeds. And with the amount of downforce that these trucks have, look for the first couple laps for these trucks to just keep completely planted down there, going into the turns, running the first couple laps completely wide open. Something that you really need to watch for at this track is the bumps. This track has some age on it, and especially down in 1 and 2, and now starting to develop here in 3 and 4. When you go over the tunnels they have there in the turns, you definitely have a bump in the middle of 1 and 2, and starting to develop here in 3 and 4. One other thing you really need to watch here at the Great American Speedway is these exits. They end very abruptly, and it is very easy to get into that outside wall there off of 2 and coming up here into turn 4 as well. The track just kind of falls out really quickly, so you definitely need to make sure that you are on top of it and you're taking a good line, because that wall, it falls out quick and you can find yourself up there ending your day prematurely. Look for these trucks to possibly get side by side. You can make that outside line work here in Texas if the conditions are right. And again, keep your truck out of trouble, get the right line, keep that speed up, and you can find yourself in victory lane here at the Texas Motor Speedway.
Well, that's what a lap around this place is like. But Sean, this wouldn't be possible for us to put on this broadcast without some help.
No, it wouldn't. This is the Lefty 200 this evening. LeftyPro.com on the scene for us. You know, Lefty Productions have over 10 years experience in digital media production. They specialize in aerial drone video and photography, as well as commercial video production, motion graphics, editing, and filmmaking. Yes, filmmaking. They'll make your film for you, Hollywood style. Now let them help you turn your ideas into reality. They will go anywhere to meet your needs. Lefty Productions is a licensed commercial drone operator. Contact Gary at gary@leftypro.com.
Currently, we have trucks turning left out there on the Texas Motor Speedway right now as they're getting in their qualifying times for tonight's Lefty Pro 200, a 132 lap race. This is Michael Dullard in the 31 truck you see out there on track. I believe there's 4 trucks left to go after him. Currently, our provisional pole sitter is Ray Richer. Let's take a closer look at some of our top names in the championship standing, Sean. And this is hitting crunch time.
Well, Sam, it certainly is. But, you know, William Hartman sits there at the top, buddy, and he's in. He's locked in. You see that green all the way across. That means he is in, and he will race in the final round, round 3 of these playoffs. Judd Danielson, Ray Richard, Kevin Fetty all hold on to those transfer spots to the next round right now by way of points. Richard and Fetty locked up. And, hey, Daniel Jackson, Mark McFadden, Mike Donahue, really, really close. All they need is a great run this evening. And, of course, they're in this fight. Now, Chris Scala, well, he's got to be here in order to gain points. And, Sam, I don't see Chris tonight. He was already on the bubble of really missing out on this deal down there with only 2015 points. I'm afraid he may effectively be eliminated by the end of the evening if he doesn't get in here quickly.
Right, he can always come at Phoenix and try and pick up a win. I believe that's how we got out of a first round of a playoff.
It's true, we did.
Another driver who only just signed in to the session, Sean, Kevin Fetty. He actually has not been here for practice. I don't think he's going to have... Well, they might let him turn a qualifying lap. We'll wait and find out. But, boy, Kevin Fetty coming in a bit cold turkey tonight.
You know what? I practiced with these gentlemen earlier. You don't want to commit cold turkey. There's a lot of danger lurking out there, Sam. There really, really is. The hot I'm going to say it again. It's a hot track. It's 100 degrees out there on track this evening under partly cloudy skies, and that is, like I said, I think that's going to be trouble for these trucks. In fact, it gets worse over the run. They free up quite a bit as the fuel starts to run off, and getting through turns 1 and 2 on this track and the truck are extremely tricky. You can do 3 and 4 just about flat out, but 1 and 2, and especially in traffic, you're going to have really trouble fighting that wheel to keep the truck down in the groove, almost right there on that white line. The truck just wants to run up the track. If you're just outside of that groove, you're done. You're toast if you're in too hot.
And you also saw there we have a strong wind coming from the north. Now that is going to be a tailwind for the trucks down the front straight and a headwind for them coming back down the back straight. So we'll wait to see how that affects them throughout the race. Just 2 drivers left to qualify. They were the fastest 2 in practice. Danny Rogers and William Hartman. They're on track right now. Ralph Forstay has since turned the fastest lap in qualifying, but not anymore. Danny Rogers goes to the top with a 30.598. William Hartman across the line, beats it and takes pole with a 30.536.
Oh, that is a bit of a surprise. I didn't think anybody would go 5. I didn't think anybody would go 30.5, Sam. Wow. And then Hartman really, what, 6 100ths of a second there ahead of Danny Rogers. Wow, wow, wow. And Sam, just real quickly, Kevin Fetty actually is not racing this evening. Apparently he is logged in from work. I don't know why, but he won't be racing. So there you go.
Well, one driver who definitely will be racing is William Hartman, who is the round 21 winner of a Sim Speed Shop Pole Award. For every 2 poles this season, the driver earns $5, and the driver with the most poles at the end of the season earns $20, courtesy of simspeedshop.com, which is a great place to order custom button boxes as well as to buy and sell used equipment. For more information, you can go to simspeedshop.com. Got a few minutes left until qualifying wraps up here, Sean. Let's give our viewers an idea of what to expect during the race tonight as far as stages go. And also, race details. We'll bring those up for you real quickly right here. This is round number 21 of 23 of a championship. You see just 2 races remain in the playoffs after tonight. We go to Phoenix in 2 weeks' time. And our top 4 in the championship after Phoenix will advance to the final 4, fighting for the trophy at Homestead. Now, it's the NASCAR Camping World trucks that these drivers use in the SSCA Sim Speed Shop truck series. So we have the Chevrolet Silverado out there and the Toyota Tundra. Fixed setups. For all of these drivers are running the same setup, which sometimes some setups are a bit more popular than others. I can imagine, Sean, if you're not a big fan of tonight's setup, you're going to be in for a rough time considering how hot the track is. And also, Texas does eat up tyres. You only have 5 sets of tyres, 20 tyres specifically, throughout the race, so you can take right side tyres 18 times if you felt like it. Or I guess that would be 9 times, unless you just wanted to take a right front tyre each time, in which case more power to you. If you cause 2 accidents during the race, you will be penalised. If there's a caution within the final few laps, we will see a green-white checker. Don't worry, this race will end the green one way or another.
Sam, there is one adjustment that you can actually make under the fixed setup that I think is worth bringing up, and that's your steering ratio. And on a track like this, that can make a big difference. Now, if you're not an iRacing member, okay, then you may not know what I'm talking about. But what that steering ratio basically does is it tightens up or loosens up the travel of your wheel, not physically, but how it reacts to the sim. Basically, what it will do is either tighten the truck up, depending on your driving style, or loosen it up. The lower you go down in that steering ratio, the more tight you tighten up that truck, and you have to be much quicker with your reaction time. As you go up with that number, say up into the 10s, the 12s, or 14s, the wheel has a lot more play. The truck will actually be a little bit more free. You'll have a little bit slower reaction time allowed to you. But it is important on a track like this because catching it out of turn 2 is going to be something these drivers are going to struggle with all night, every lap here at Texas Motor Speedway.
Now, I'll go the other way on that, Sean. One thing I always found with my steering ratio, I always liked the wheel to be a little free, but then what I would do is it felt so good at the start of a run, I'd find that by doing that, I would, without realizing it, hurt my tires more. And I've got to imagine that tire conservation is something that you've got. I mean, Texas Motor Speedway, 110 degrees. This is a bumpy track. It's a fast track. It's hot. You gotta be careful with your tires. I know you get 5 sets, but they're gonna go by now.
Oh, it's not gonna be enough. No, they fall off really quick, Sam. That was the other thing I noticed in practice. You know, I could burn down like 6 or 7 really, really hot laps, go hard right out of the box. But man, after about 6, 7 laps of abusing it down there in that white stripe that I talked about down there on the bottom, it started to be a struggle to keep the truck out of the center of the track. And as I said, especially in 1 and 2, that's not where you want to be. You'll see some drivers try to ride it kind of high, wide, and handsome. What we call the Juan Pablo Montoya line around this track. That may work for some. They try to drive it a little bit like Darlington, but I got to be honest with you, the speed is down on the bottom of this track. And side-by-side racing this evening in certain parts of this track, namely out of turn 4 and through the dog leg, that'll be fun to watch, but also very intense for these drivers.
Now, if you weren't here for our last race at Martinsville, 7 of the 8 playoff drivers that showed up, they all placed in the top 8. All 7 of the drivers. There was only one driver in the top 8 who was not a playoff driver across the finishing line. So that shows you just how competitive it is. It also shows you how much a no-show is going to hurt you in the points. So Obviously, Chris Scala is now counting on a win at Phoenix if he shows up. And also Kevin Fetty, even though he comes in tied third in the points, he's pretty much going to have to hope for a really fortunate result at Phoenix, aka a win. So what 6 drivers does that leave us with? Well, it leaves us with Hartman, Danielson, Richter, Jackson, McFadden, and Donahue. And of our 19 drivers we have who have showed up here today, those 6 drivers have qualified in the top 13. So a little bit more spread out to start with here, to start this off today, Sean. But if it's anything like Martinsville, we should see all 6 of them running up front by the time we get to the checkered flag.
Yeah, we should, Sam. And qualifying is over. The checkered flag on qualifying is out. And boy, William Hartman, again, you know, we talked about how fast those 2 laps were. Your front row are definitely, clearly faster than the rest of the field. At least at qualifying pace they were. But Sam, I think now would probably be a good time to call out the grid for this this great event here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway, the Lefty 200.
Yep, as the clock kicks 0 after the added time, checkered flag falls on qualifying, and here we advance to the race session with William Hartman on the pole position by 0.062 of a second over Danny Rogers, starting in second place. Ralph Vorst will be starting back in third. Alongside him is Ray Richter in the 44. Sean Callist will be starting from 5th position ahead of Scott Seaman in 6th. Brad Danielson will be starting from 7th ahead of Daniel Jackson, and Michael Dullard and Mike Donahue will round out the top 10.
All right, Sam, row 6. Going to be Adam Eisenhower at number 86, and Joe Johnson at number 18 will start on the outside in 12. Mark McFadden, he's going to start on the inside of row 7 and at number 48, and then there he is on the outside in the double lot. Robert Farland starts 14th today. Jeff Martin in the 15. He's going to start 15th. Sam on the inside there, row 8. Russ Cohen at number 420 will start on the outside in 16th. Back to row 9, it's Gary Sheldon in a number 88. He'll start 17th today. Jeremy Crandall in a number 73. He'll start 18th. And then Morgan Baird, who isn't on the grid yet, but I'm showing he will start in 19th. And as we mentioned, Kevin Fetty not racing.
Just one pace lap for these drivers around this 1.5 mile Texas Motor Speedway. This race will be split up into 3 stages. 33 laps for stage 1, 33 laps for stage 2, 66 laps for the third and final stage. So it will be a 132 lap race around a 1.5 mile track. That multiply that, you get the 200 miles. For this Lefty 200. And Sean, the drivers should know how to race a 33-33-66 race, because it's not exactly the first time we've had one this season.
Sure.
The problem they're going to run into, again, is tyre conservation. Strategy, I think, is going to be a bit more key in that third and final stage than normal.
Yeah, I don't think everybody's going to be able to handle this tonight. To be honest, I'm just being frank. I think this. I practiced it enough to know there's trouble. There's trouble out here to be had, and I think the laws of physics, or at least how they're constrained to the virtual world, are going to be at play tonight. And it's not the set, Sam. The set is actually not bad at all. It really is just the track, and it's going to be fun to watch.
And it's all about to start now. 18 trucks on the grid. No sign of Morgan Baird as they roll out of turn 4 with William Hartman and Danny Rogers leading them to the green flag. For those about to race, we salute you. We are racing here at Texas Motor Speedway. Now, Rogers actually edged Hartman to the start-finish line there, but Hartman has a desired inside line as they're building up speed on fresh Goodyears. They're able to run flat out through turns 1 and 2, and that gives Hartman the edge going down the back straight.
Certainly does, Sam. Callist had worked his way all the way to the top there in the back. He's moving up now through the field, putting a move on Judd Danielson here.
Ray Richer dropping back on the high side. Highline definitely not the place to be right now, as these tires are still fresh. We'll wait and see if it comes in as the race goes on. So Hartman out leading the race. Rogers right behind him for second. Fanning out, some three-wide action going on down the back straight, even on only lap 2 here at the Texas Motor Speedway. Scott Seaman has worked his way up into third from 6th on the starting grid. Ralph Vorstead gets shuffled back to 4th.
Sam, I'm watching the 70 of Mike Donahue. This truck was out of shape, out of 2 earlier. He is really in the center of the track right now. He's got to be careful here out of 2 again.
And remember, they got a strong wind. I believe they're driving into, going down the back straight right there. Whatever it is in the turns, it's definitely not going to be helping them, Sean. You'd like your truck to behave, but it looks like Donahue's found a gap for himself in 8th place here.
Yeah, it's blowing north, Sam, and yes, that's the north end of the track down there, and they're getting a lot of push. They're into 3. Boy, it looked like Daniel Jackson might have clipped it coming off of 2.
Definitely a bit too early in the race, especially for one of our playoff contenders to be playing games with that wall. And now you see Mike Donahue, another one of our playoff contenders, getting quite close to the wall on the front straight.
And Donahue is chugging, man. He is really pedaling that Silverado. Here we come off of turn 2 again, and he gets it right up against the wall, but he's hanging on to it. Got a nice pass there on Sean Callis. That's 3 spots already.
Yeah, Mike Donahue has quietly really been picking up some of these stronger finishes this season. Not always a top 5 runner at every race, Sean, but he's normally up in the top 5 by the time the checkered flag falls. Today, looks like he's being a bit more aggressive, although right now just running in 7th, still up 3 positions from where he started.
All right, Sam, so we're going to go on hard here for about 6 laps. Over these next several laps, we've got to see how these trucks respond.
The whole field covered by just 6 seconds now, from William Hartman in the lead all the way back to Rusko in 18th place. But for all we know, he could just be electing to run there for now, and seeing how this race unfolds. Because as you mentioned, Sean, the tyres are going to start going off. To see if anyone saved anything for the long run.
You know, McFarland's back there. He's another one of those trucks that just drop back, Sam, immediately on the start.
Yeah, McFarland started 14th. He's down to 16th, circulating this Texas Motor Speedway. Battle on for second. Now that Highline might start to be coming in. Scott Seaman trying to use it to get around on Danny Rogers now in turns 3 and 4. He's going to elect to go down low. Here we go. Battle for second.
Wow. Oh, careful there. Ooh, Rogers really pinched up there for a moment.
Neither of these two racing.
It's way too high on the track there. Got to be careful here, Sam.
Neither of these two racing for points anymore, so they're pretty much just here for the win. Well, to get the first, you've got to get in second, and that's what Seaman's able to do, entering 3, unless he's overdrove it. Rogers might attempt to cross over on the exit here. Hey, yes, here he goes.
See if Seaman stays up high here again. He actually made that work on that last lap. That was impressive. He does. Riding that JPM line all the way around the top, and he gets a really nice run there off the top down the back straightaway. Look at it. He pulls away a little bit from Danny.
Well, these two, I mean, if they're really concerned about the win, I don't know how much they want to be racing each other right now, because Seaman got the wall coming out of 4.
Sure looked like he did, didn't it, Sam? Hey, back just a bit further. Dullard now trying to get around Sean Callis. He's just about pulled that off. He's actually starting to get a run there at Richer.
So some side-by-side action going on in the middle of the field. And I'm seeing not only Scott Seaman, but Ralph Vorste now also running right up against the wall. The racing groove really starting to widen here as we enter the mid-portion of the run.
Hey, if it works for you, run it, Sam. It's not a line that I've ever favored myself personally as a driver, but listen, there are guys who do love it and can work it up there. Probably the same guys that are actually good at Darlington Speedway, as I kind of mentioned a little while ago.
William Hartman still continues to lead the field around by 1.7 seconds over this battle for second. I really don't think Seaman and Rogers battling hard for second place is doing them any favours in the long run, Sean, because we're not even halfway through this first stage. And Ralph Vorste and Daniel Jackson running in 4th and 5th, yeah, sure, they may be a couple of seconds back, but for all we know, they could be a couple of faster trucks toward the tail end of a run. Battle for 6th place.
Yeah, Sam.
Oh, and caution!
Oh, yep, we caught a caution.
Eisenhower and
Calloused. Yeah, Callous is... Oh, we're going to see it here on the replay. I'm afraid Callous truck kind of moved up the line just a little bit. Really, really close. The Calloused in that orange and blue 43 on the bottom. Eisenhower there on the top of the green, white and blue truck. And Calloused comes across there, and they get contact with each other. Both slide down to the infield. Sam, I think both trucks are going to avoid major damage there, but even a little bit of damage here at Texas Motor Speedway is not a good thing. Here you go. Eisenhower in his line here. And all of a sudden, Calloused comes up. Boy, that contact pretty hard there for Calloused.
Honestly, I'm very surprised that brought a caution flag out. It must have been when they were pointing about 90 degrees sideways there, or 80 degrees. Now, Sean, I wouldn't pit here, but someone's going to.
Yeah, someone's going to. I don't know that I would. Man, I would. I'd stay out here. I really, really would. I'd try and run this to the end of the stage. I don't want to waste a set right now. I'd rather save those for the third stage, Sam. Catch a couple cautions, and you leave yourself with three, or just even a couple of sets in that third stage. I think you're going to be in a better shape than a lot of other drivers who decide to go against that.
Well, of our playoff drivers, rather, Mark McFadden and Daniel Jackson have gone against our GSRC educated decision here. Those are two words that don't normally go in the same sentence, but we'll wait and see how it pans out for them by the end of this. Not a stranger the playing alternate strategy calls as Daniel Jackson. Some of them have backfired against him recently, but hey, it has him up 5th in the points right now, so some of them have worked to his favour too.
Indeed. You know, that caution really does kind of mix up this first stage just a bit. We're beginning to look like we might go all the way to the green there. Now let's see.
You'll see how the second half of this opening stage of the race goes. Normally for these SSCA guys, the opening couple of stages of these races are quite clean, and then things get a little bit interesting strategy-wise when we see a couple of yellows fly in the third and final stage when it's really for all the marbles. But the pace car lights are off, and Hartman and Seaman about to lead them back to green. So we're working the first caution of the day here at the lefty 200. Lined up on row 2 behind Hartman and Seaman will be Rogers and Vorste. Wonder how much bad news this is for Seaman and Rogers, considering the fact they were battling hard for second place during those opening 13 laps. Wonder if it'll be an opportunity for the drivers behind them who maybe have been taking a bit more care of their equipment, namely their tyres. See if they can dispose of a 99 and a 5 on the restart here. All 18 trucks still in the race, still on the lead lap. Hartman about to lead them all back to green. Here he goes, he gets a nice restart there. Keep half an eye on the trucks at the back who do have those newer tyres. And let's see if how much ground they're able to make up in the next 15 laps.
Sam, I'll keep my eyes on Daniel Jackson. He's at the front of that right now. The 84. Boy, it sure looked like Scott Seaman struggled there off of turn 2. Scary moment. Dullard already dropping to the bottom. Bringing Jeff Martin with him. Or I'm sorry, no, that was the 17 of Judd Danielson.
Ralph Vorste losing out a little bit on this restart. That's Michael Dullard going for 4th place. Might even get 3rd place from Seaman. But now you see Seaman is pretty much married to that higher groove around Texas Motor Speedway here to get the run down the straights.
Look at that 66 go there around the top. Made a good charge on Dullard. Dullard, though, getting better here on the bottom. Sam, I killed that cicada that was in the booth. I'm sorry, folks. That thing was annoying. Flew in here, was bouncing all over the place, making all kinds of noise. Oh, still battle. Look at that. Look at that run that Vorst got. Woo!
Well, the run that Daniel Jackson has got this lap on those newer tyres, he just picked off, I believe, 3 spots in 1 lap. Was 12th, now he is up to 8th, 4 spots in 1 lap for the drive of the 84.
Yep, Sam, you know, they are definitely moving through, but it's really, really close. Tight action in front of them. They're 3 wide. Look at this, the Lordco Chevrolet down on the bottom, mixing things up. Watch out.
Jackson gonna follow that Lordco Chevy of Mark McFadden. They're passing Dullard and Danielson there, dropping back on the high side. Jackson trying to bide his time. He's got to be a little bit patient while they're running side by side in front of him. Battle for 3rd as well.
Oh,
going 3 wide.
Worst place on the track to be 3 wide. The exit of turn 2, and they're still 3 wide down the backstretch. Jackson all the way down on the bottom, Sam.
Yeah, Seaman up high, running alongside McFadden. McFadden also on newer tyres, it must be said. He's been charging his way through this field. So okay. McFadden's got ahead of Jackson here.
This is absolutely nuts. An old contact up there for the 31. Dullard actually made contact with the wall. Oh, look at... Someone had to make an evasive move. That was Ralph Vorst moves all the way to the bottom, and he did it quickly.
Alright, so now our top 4 is William Hartman, Danny Rogers, Mark McFadden, and Daniel Jackson. Rogers is the only one of those 4 not competing for the playoffs, and Jackson wants to be the leader of the trucks on new tyres. He's looking underneath Mark McFadden. They're still a couple of seconds back of Hartman and Rogers, but coming in a hurry. So, Jackson moves up to P3.
Well, tires are king. I mean, it's not... I still go with the call to keep the truck out there and try and finish his save. Save those sets for the 3rd stage. I think a win is what you need here tonight. But Jackson is definitely on the move. He's picking them up already.
Coming around to complete lap 25 this time by. Lap 33 will be the completion of the 1st stage of this race. Daniel Jackson, the lead between him and William Hartman. Now race leader is now less than a second. Now he's going to start hitting that dirty air, but I've got to imagine when his tyres are this much of an advantage over his competition, that can't be upsetting him too much.
And Stan, they are still battling fiercely for 5th on back. And one thing I've noticed is Judd Danielson has just been faithful to keeping that truck down there on the bottom. It's actually kept him in the mix. Even though they've been getting a good run off the top line, Danielson, as I said, has kept his Toyota down there.
Well, Draxon's taken the lead, and Hartman will lead lap number 26. But I have a feeling when they come back around in 1.5 miles' time, there'll be a new leader of this race, the driver of the 84. Will it pay off for him in the long run? We're probably not going to know for a long, long time. But for right now, Daniel Draxon moves to the lead of a Lefty 200.
Well, I guess that didn't take too long, did it, Sam? About 11 laps.
Oh, Scott Seaman, I think, got a piece of a wall coming off of turn 4. He was lucky. He was lucky he was able to recover that, because he has 4 other trucks all on his rear bumper, and that could get quite ugly in a hurry.
Yeah, and Dullard is there to try and pick it off. You know what? McFadden actually just got by Danny Rogers to move up to 3rd.
Yeah, it's taken him a little while longer.
Boy, McFadden, what a great start to this race for him. It started back there in 13th. He finds himself in 3rd now, and he's chasing McFadden. Or I'm sorry, McFadden is chasing Hartman.
McFadden came off of a 6th place finish at Martinsville, which sounds great until you consider that there were about 5 other playoff drivers in front of him. One of the drivers who will definitely need a couple of strong results if he wants to be in that Championship 4 at Homestead. Picking up a position from William Hartman here would be a feather in his cap. 3.5 laps left to find a way by that 67.
Well, let's see if he can pull this off. Honestly, he's close enough right now. I think with a good run out of 2, he should be able to get him down the backstretch here. Boy, look at that truck turn, and he actually has to get off of the throttle. Wow.
He got the run too early, but when he got back on the loud pedal coming out of turn 2 there, it looks like it's still going to pan out for him.
Ooh, I don't know. Hang on. Hartman certainly thought about the crossover, was giving it a look, but there's just not enough. He doesn't have enough rubber left on that thing to do it.
I wondered for a moment, Sean, if Daniel Jackson was going to opt to not pit under the caution at the end of stage 1 and, just take the stage win and know that at the start of a second stage he wouldn't have as much of an advantage. But I'm starting to think that's not going to be the case now, because if that was the case, he would have started saving his tyres by now.
Yeah.
But he's holding down a 2-second lead. If he had any intentions of keeping those tyres on for the start of stage number 2, he would not be leading the race by 2 seconds right now. He'd be trying to lead it by half a second.
He would have throttled it back, definitely.
But
boy, Hartman getting a run on McFadden here. They almost made contact at the backstretch, Sam.
All right, it's got one more turn to try and complete the run, because Jackson's coming out of turn 4 now to complete and win stage number 1, followed by McFadden, Hartman, Rogers, Dullard, Seaman, Danielson, Vorst, Martin, and Donahue rounding out the top 10.
Yep, that's good opening stage. I mean, the caution was unfortunate, but I mean, let's face it, everybody survived that. It's still running, Sam. So I think so far so good here at Texas Motor Speedway. I was preaching all this doom and gloom there at the beginning in the intro and talking about how hot this track was and how the trucks are going to free up and everybody's going to be crashing all over the place. Well, Sam, first stage, they really weren't. It was pretty well run.
Now, of course, these drivers are about to enter the shortest stage of the race, because caution laps count. And so, by the time we get restarted after pit stops are said and done here, of which we expect everyone to come in for 4 tyres, they'll have less than 30 laps to the end of stage number 2. And that might mean, Sean, we'll see some more aggressive driving with the drivers knowing they can get away just a little bit more with abusing their tyres. Not a whole lot more. Anyway, here they come in. And boy, McFadden left a whale of a gap ahead of him. Daniel Jackson's easily going to win this race off of pit road.
Yeah, well, and the unfortunate thing is it stacked everybody up behind McFadden. William Hartman, especially one of those. Can't imagine he's going to be real tickled about that. He's got to come all the way down the pit road, down into that number 1 spot. Oh, no, and just behind him, Danny Rogers had to back up. That'll cost him.
Well, McFadden might be able to get second off of pit road. The Jackson is not going.
Uh-oh. Boy. McFadden is away. Wow, horrible pit stop for Jackson. Something's going on, Sam.
He's serving some kind of penalty, perhaps. Trying to backtrack and...
Is it possible he had some damage that we didn't see? Well, he did have a little bit of right front damage, I think, from earlier, but I don't know. The right front looks fine. I'm not sure, Sam.
Yeah, I was looking at his speed entering pit road. He was hovering right around 50, 51 miles an hour. Maybe that's why he was able to build up a gap over McFadden if he was speeding on pit entry. Either way, William Hartman wins the race off of pit road, thanks in part to that desired top pit stall, and Michael Dullard will be behind him in second, with McFadden and Danielson third and fourth. But let's not forget, McFadden is down an extra set of tyres.
All right, Sam, my further investigation sees that it was right about a 15-second difference for him and the rest of the field in and out of the pits, and I think that was, in fact, the speeding 15-second hold in his box there.
So what about this Michael Dullard guy? He's definitely been back and forth in the early stages here. He's going to have his chance to shine if he can get downstairs quickly. Remember, on the restarts, the high side with these fresh tyres is not the place you want to be.
Yeah, you need a little bit of heat in him. Here we go, Sam.
Pace car is off. Hartman. He got a nice restart last time, and he does it again.
Wow.
Well, Dullard has plenty of space to pull down low now if he wants it.
Certainly does, Sam. I think
no, he doesn't.
Yeah, no, he does. Daniels is going to get there first, right down where he's been running the whole race.
Yeah. Don't know if that was planned or if Dullard just wasn't on the ball there. Well, I'm going to go with the ladder because now he's realised his mistake.
And here comes Scott Sim in the 99, getting a run off 4, catching them both quickly.
Meanwhile, for 6, Rogers was trying to go a bit defensive on Ralph Allstate, but nothing happened. Well, it didn't work, in other words, and Ralph got by. Battle for second continues. Now with Judd Danielson looking for P2. Judd Danielson, another one of those playoff drivers. This is the highest place we've seen him in tonight after starting 7th place. With all this already going on, the second back of our race leader, William Hartman. These good restarts that Hartman is getting are key right now.
Sam, I'm seeing some pretty intense racing right now. You're already early in this stage. Back just a little bit further. You've got Mark McFadden And Danny Rogers had been having a little, or it was Jeff Martin that actually was struggling with McFadden, but now has finally pulled away and trying to catch up. Now McFadden's got the 66 there, Ralph Forrest, right next to him. And McFadden's truck, I got to be honest, it looks a little free right now, Sam.
Yeah, well, McFadden was not one of our strongest qualifiers. Let's not forget the reason he was up there flirting with the front runners early on was because of a tyre advantage. So he might just be struggling a little bit with the setup here today.
Yeah, look at this battle for third. Seaman has got up here to Dullard. Now these two are side by side, right behind Danielson. Oh boy. And Seaman's the rear end of his truck kicked out just a little bit there for a second. He got it.
But once again, the problem for these guys is that all of this is going on 2 seconds now behind our race leader, William Hartman.
If you're consistent and you get in front of the pack, Sam, you can do that. You can run away from this field. But you've got to be brutally consistent every lap here.
Danielson is now starting to pull away in second a bit, so the battle continues for third. Scott Seaman's been flirting up in the top 5 all race long. Dullard likewise actually, but further around 6th or 7th place. Jeff Martin didn't turn up during qualifying. It's not that he didn't take to the track, he did, but I think he made a mistake on his qualifying run and he realised he was going to be starting at the back anyway, so opted not to put on a time start in the safety of a back. Now he has slowly but surely worked his way up to 5th.
Listen, Jeff is determined. We got a chance to talk to him before the racing got started this evening, and I'm going to be honest, he was not a fan of what we were dealing with tonight as far as the conditions of the track and just handling this beast around here. I got to be honest, so far he's put in a really, really good showing. I think he's right where he wants to be here behind this battle in front of him, ready to make a reaction if he has to, but don't look for him to try and get around them anytime soon. This may just play into his hands here if he can take care of the tires. These two are fighting really hard in front of him.
Yeah, talking about the tricky conditions, with the way the wind is going right now, these drivers only hitting about 175 miles an hour entering turn 3, which is still incredibly fast. But when they hit turn 1, after the start-finish line, they are over 180 miles an hour.
Yeah, in the trucks, right? They're running practically cup speeds into that turn. Yes, it's crazy. And the lap times are only off, I think, right now, Sam, by about 4 seconds between the cup cars and the trucks.
And now we have 46 laps in the book. That means it's 20 laps until the end of the second stage. William Hartman, I mean, unless a caution comes out, it's going to take some beating to get to him. It also might take a bit of beating to get to Judd Danielson, who's running safely in second right now. But third on back, still a lot of close racing going on, Sean. And for these playoff contenders, every position, could, even in stage number 2 here, could be worth something by the time the checkered flies in Phoenix.
Sam, I couldn't agree with you more. You know, back in the middle of the pack, we've got some hungry drivers who are trying to move up here, get a couple positions back towards the end of the stage. It starts with Danny Rogers, I think, to be honest with you. He is down 5 spots right now from where he started in this race. You know, he's just outside of that top 5 and get a good run here. But Mike Donahue is in his rearview mirror with Adam Eisenhower. I don't know if that's going to help or hurt him, but it looks like Donahue might be coming to fight. On board with Eisenhower there. Watching that run Donahue's got. He's going to keep it in the middle part of the track here, heading into turn 3. Eisenhower's going to stay up there in the middle of the track.
Well, while we watch all this action go on in the middle of a field, at the back of a field, Sean, is Daniel Jackson. Now, either one of two things is happening here. Because, remember, he took that set of tyres very early on. Either he's saving his tyres that he has now with the intention perhaps of keeping them on for the start of stage 3, or after he got that speeding penalty, he's elected to keep the tyres on that he had for the end of stage 1, knowing that, hey, I'm going to the back anyway. Let's get back on the tyre strategy here and just accept that stage 2 is a wash, and then I'll race with these guys in the last stage again.
It's very possible. He better get going, though, because Hartman's just now getting off turn 4, and I don't think he'll catch him. He's got a decent gap on him right now, I guess, but Hartman has any trouble at all. He is going to be in a world of hurt.
I don't think he is safe, Sean. I mean, we go back to watching the battle here, but Daniel Jackson is losing a second a lap to Hartman, and Hartman's only 11 seconds away from lapping him, and we have 15 laps left in the stage. Now, granted, even if he goes a lap down, he'll be able to get the lucky dog under the caution at the end of stage 2, but still, his race is made a lot easier if he doesn't have to do it that way.
Yeah, you don't have to do it the hard way, obviously. You're doing math, though, and that scares me. So right now, I think your calculations are pretty good. As long as you can keep that second advantage. Hey, I'll tell you what. Right now, a good battle between Rogers and Eisenhower back here. These two continue to mix it up. And that's all for just 7th place, as Ralph Forst is really kind of opening up on him. And Mike Donahue is still back there lurking, still looking to get his place up closer to the top 5, but which right now belongs to Jeff Martin. He's holding down that 5th spot. Ralph Forst. Oh, we got one.
It's McFadden.
Oh,
he hit Sheldon. Now McFadden, one of our playoff contenders. I don't see him smoking. That's the good news. No, he's stopping. He's taking a tow. He has blown the engine in a high-speed crash entering turn 1.
Sam, it was contact between him and the 73 of Jeremy Crandall. And what happens is McFadden catches catches that truck you saw there at the end of the pass. Here we go. We're on board now with Sheldon. Sheldon's going to get clipped here. Just right there. When the 48 was sliding down across the track. No fault of Sheldon's. He was just a passenger there, Sam.
So big points implications with Mark McFadden entering this race 6th in the points. Now obviously he got a few points from stage 1, but this isn't going to help out the big points that come not only for the end of stage 2 but the race. Now I'm pretty sure pit road is open, but all of these drivers, at least the front runners, electing to stay out, of course.
Yeah, I think you could have gone either way here, to be honest with you, Sam. I think you could have taken a chance either way, but Joe Johnson, Jeremy Crandall, well, we know Crandall needed to come in. Sean Callis, Robert McFarland are in. Sheldon's probably in for a while.
None of these I see a couple blue banners pulling into the pits, but they're just drivers who I don't think have taken them off, who were eliminated from the playoffs a couple rounds ago. None of our playoff drivers are in the pits, except for McFadden, of course, who was involved in that crash.
All right, so we picked up a caution here in this second stage. We were clean and green there for most of it, with some really, really wild racing. Again, the drivers of the Simulation Sports Car Association, Stock Car. I'm sorry, did I say Sports Car? I did. Stock Car Association, putting on another great show for us here tonight, Sam.
Anticipate the lights are about to go off on the pace car, maybe. Yes. So 9-lap shootout to end the stage.
Hey, Sam, do you think LeftyPro.com would be up for sponsoring any road races, or do you think they're limited to ovals? Just a question.
Now, unfortunately, Sean, we're not going to find out for the remainder of the season because just Phoenix and Homestead left. We did have a couple of road course races earlier on during this year, and they definitely played a big role. They came late in the regular season. A couple of drivers got advantages out of that heading into the playoffs. A couple of drivers not so fortunate.
Got us a pretty good sprint here to the checkers, the end of this second stage, Sam.
I'm sorry, it was actually in the playoffs that we went to Motorsport. My bad, that was Scott Seaman who ended up winning that race. Well, Seaman would like to pick off another win here today, but he's going to have to do it restarting fourth. Oh, big slide by Danielson.
Yeah,
Seaman gets the worst of that.
Boy, I think Judd might have missed shift or maybe spun the tires, but that's pretty hard hit, and the caution is out.
Yeah, Sean Callis ran into the back of Seaman. So Seaman restarted fourth behind Danielson, who did not get a good restart. And Seaman, because he kind of got bulked so much, the field was passing him left and right, and then Sean Callis went right into the back of him, and the league admin threw the caution.
Wow. Wasn't expecting that. I'm going to be honest. Boy, the restarts so far, and we've had a couple of them, but they've been really good, Sam. That one got messy. Again, poor Judd Danielson, I can't tell if it was spinning the tires or if he missed a shift there or something. But that started the whole melee.
You see someone else, it was actually, who got into the back of Seaman and turned him up the track into Callis. Callis, unfortunately, a unfortunate victim there in the 43 truck.
Boy, it looks like the Lordco team, Sam, they've taken that truck behind the wall. Mark McFadden has retired from this race. That's unfortunate. That truck actually had really good speed in the first stage, and in the early part of this second stage looked really good. He could have been a contender tonight.
Well, we got a couple more laps of caution here before an even shorter shootout to finish stage number 2. Daniel Jackson intriguingly into the pits for a new set of tyres to finish off the stage, so maybe we'll see him at the front for the third and final stage. We'll find out here when we come back in just a moment on the Global SimRacing Channel. William Hartman and Michael Dullard will lead the field back to green this time. Sean, they're going to be on older tyres again. Hopefully we can have a cleaner restart this time. However, I'm really thinking Daniel Jackson has made a good strategy call this time. He's got 4 fresh tyres. If he wants, he can just coast it to the end of his stage over the next 4 laps. And he'll be leading the field back to green by the time we end the second stage portion.
Good strategy. I'm right on board with him. Nothing wrong with that at all. Let them have their little fight here, and who knows? Maybe even get into something. Jackson's in the safe zone back here.
Well, as long as he doesn't get into a wreck, hopefully we'll have a cleaner restart this time. By the way, it was Crandall who was the driver who got into the back of Seaman, turning him up the track. Into Callis for our last caution. Cleaner restart this time. Hartman leaps out again. Dullard, not a great restart on the high side, but keeps it pointing straight. Jeff Martin going to move up into second.
Pretty orderly behind. Ray Richard down on the bottom. 4 stuck up top, and a truck, I think that's Joe Johnson trying to make move to the inside, make it 3 wide.
Couple of 3 wide scenarios panning out. One with Joe Johnson, as you just mentioned.
He just slid right up in front of Ralph Forrest. That was awful close. Joe Johnson continuing to move. He's got a run on Eisenhower now.
Definitely not one of drivers on the newer tyres who's taken it kind to those newer tyres. Now, even though he's got blue on his banner, Johnson has since been eliminated from the playoffs. He's just racing for the win. He's working his way through the field.
Slicing his way through the field right now, Sam. Yeah, I don't think he got the memo about the blue spoiler and banners on the car. But he is running right now and getting by Danny Rogers.
I think his goal was to win this stage. He might have needed a couple more laps to do it though, because they're going to start the final lap of stage number 2. He should get second right here from Jeff Martin, but still 0.8 of a second back of William Hartman. I think that's going to be hard to do in 1 lap.
So much for Jackson holding off. Sam, he's now in the 4th, battling Martin for 3rd.
He'll take entering turn 3, but it's going to be William Hartman coming around. He didn't win stage 1, but he won pole. He's going to win stage 2 at the completion of lap 66 here in the Lefty 200 at Texas Motor Speedway. Blown entering ahead of him, that's Scott Seaman. As Scott Seaman tried to get back out on track, he was able to keep on the lead lap, but I think at a big cost.
Well, Sam, that the front end damage on that truck, pretty significant, and I'm afraid that is the end of the Good Wrench Service Chevrolet's night. Wow. Cooked it.
So William Hartman wins stage 2 ahead of Joe Johnson, Daniel Jackson, Jeff Martin, Danny Rogers in 5th. Michael Dullard, Judd Danielson, Mike Donahue, Ray Richer and Adam Eisenhower round out the top 10.
So now what does Jackson do now? He charged his way up there to get top 3, and I got to be honest, he was biting on those tires pretty hard there, Sam, over that run. Yeah, it was a limited one, but boy, I guess you stay out. I guess he's got to. He's got to if he wants tires in the second stage or in the 3rd stage.
He might elect to come in, Sean, and just top off of fuel. He'll still win the race off of pit road. Well, he's came in. Everyone's came in. So Hartman, Johnson, Jackson is the order they come down.
Jackson's in his box waiting for this truck to go up on the jacks. It does not. He tops off on fuel, Sam. And he's in a race with Joe Johnson, and they make contact.
Yeah, that's not what you want, especially here at Texas. It looks like Johnson is going to win that race off of pit road, but at what cost? Very light, Sean. I think I might have got away with that one.
Yeah, maybe so. May have been just more so Jackson turning the wheel to avoid making contact there, and it looked like maybe they had bumped, but they didn't. So he's going to have to start from the top side. We haven't seen Joe Johnson start this race. We don't know what he's going to do on the restart. We know what William Hartman's been able to do on these restarts, but yeah, man, again, a little bit of unpredictability here with Joe Johnson getting a restart on the inside. It's going to be up to Daniel Jackson to try and find his way up and around him and into the clean air.
And another thing to note, Sean, talking about how tricky these conditions are, we're halfway through this race and we're working our 5th caution. Now, I know 2 of those were for the stage ending caution, so we've had 3 for incidents, but that's still quite a lot compared to what we're seeing for these SSCA guys on 1.5 mile speedways. Normally, it's this 3rd and final stage where those start tallying up.
Well, that's what we've seen traditionally, hasn't it been this season in all 3 series? I don't know. I hope they haven't. I hope they haven't run out of luck yet. You know, who knows? Maybe we get the opposite tonight. Maybe this 3rd and final stage, we get that green flag pit stop at a race to the checkers. Sam, I'm being highly optimistic, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, honestly, both runs that we've seen 2 really good runs in both of the first 2 stages, and I don't see any reason why we can't do it again here. The field has thinned out a little bit, so we'll see, Sam, as things go along.
Yeah, as the field gets double file here, let's mention those drivers who have called it a day or ran into trouble. McFadden, Callist, and McFadden and Seaman are out of a race. Callist is essentially out of a race. He's sitting in the pit stall with a lot of damage. Sheldon is back out on track, but he's 14 laps down. Jeremy Crandall is back out on track, but he is 1 lap down. So that leaves us with 13 trucks left on the lead lap and really left in contention. Although Crandall could easily get back on the lead lap if we have another quick yellow. The other thing we've got to be a bit concerned with, Sean, is how bad will Johnson and Jackson's tyres spin on the restart here? No, it's only 4 racing laps they have under them, but that's still 4 more than 0.
Yes, it is, Sam, and yes, it's an excellent point to make.
Alright, Ford Mustang pace car once again pulls into the pits. Is it for the final time? We're about to find out. Johnson and Jackson leading them back under green. Johnson does not get a flyer off a restart, doesn't get a bad one by any means, but he's got Hartman all over the back of him and he doesn't want that, and Jackson is, I think Jackson's going the wrong way, unfortunately. Can Hartman take the lead, entering turn 3? He's looking underneath Johnson as they throw it off into the turn at 170 miles an hour already, and William Hartman is back to the point.
Boy, I didn't take long at all, Sam. I'm a little surprised by that, actually. Boy, they're slicing and dicing right behind him, though. Jeff Martin all over every groove of this track. Ralph Forster trying to make a move on the top. Martin had to check up, and as that Seaman almost gets into the back of him. That is just nuts.
Well, Martin ran square into the back of Johnson. The only reason they didn't wreck was because it was completely square. It's the kind of bump you want to give someone at Talladega. now Martin able to get by Johnson, but I have got to be a bit concerned for the driver of that 15 truck. If front end is hurt, that could be affecting his aerodynamics for the remainder of the race. So Hartman leads by half a second over Rogers. Martin's made up into third. Vorster now goes by Johnson. And boy, Jackson is dropping almost outside of the top 10.
And he's who I'm watching right now, Sam. He's just moving backwards in this race. Donahue just got around him. Here comes Judd Danielson. Danielson not running his line, though, and that's not helping him. He was much better on the lower part of the track, and he's struggling now behind Jackson, but for some reason, Jackson is just backed up to the field all of a sudden.
It must be said, Sean, I think this is the first time this race we haven't seen a battle going on for second. Danny Rogers was quickly able to dispose of his competitors behind, but yet still he is a few tenths a lap slower than William Hartman. The driver for 67 just really has this place figured out tonight.
He does. Got a feeling he just loves this track. Michael Dullard is battling right now with Ralph Force. And Dullard's the one that's been kind of on the move here. Force, this is right where he's been running, but this is a good one. These two just separated by maybe a foot on track all the way around for the last several laps.
It must be said, Sean, also, I think Dullard in the 31 truck has been one of the more improved drivers towards the end of the season. I don't remember him flirting for top 5 finishes as much as what he is now earlier on in the season.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sam. It seems like they have stepped up their game a bit there. And Michael probably just working harder at it, trying to get more practice and seat time in, and putting on a good show for us right now with Ralph. Ralph's trying to hold them off there from the top side. Now Dullard goes down to the bottom at a 2. Both of them hanging onto those trucks really, really well here, Sam.
Talking about improved form, it must be said that for William Hartman, we're seeing a bit of a Jimmy Johnson-esque performance to end the season here right now, Sean, because before his win last race out over at Martinsville, he hadn't won a race since May.
True.
I mean, now that their playoffs have came around, yeah, he's really back on top form. We continue to watch this close battle for fourth between Vorst and Dullard. Vorst having the upper hand right now.
Martin has really got something here. He has caught Danny Rogers. Ooh, and he gets him out, and he tips Rogers. Rogers trying to hang on to it. Oh, Rogers blinked out for a second, and now he's back. The caution is not out, but Rogers certainly got tipped there by Martin.
Well, that must have been scary for everyone behind. Not only do you know if he's going to save it or come back up the track, but he blinks out right at the critical time where he's catching the truck. And like, okay, where is he going to reappear? Is he going to stay down there on the apron or come back out on the track? Nice driving by Rogers, who probably saw all the trucks disappear on his screen too, to just keep it down low, knowing he wouldn't be in the way of anyone when he
amazing.
rejoined.
Yeah, amazing. Really, really was. Wow, what a save.
It's got to be the worst time for your internet connection to have a moment like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, honestly, you know, for a moment, sometimes when we see drivers disqualify from an event, they just go into the ether. For some reason, I thought there's no way that he could have incidented out of this race. And boy, that was really odd. But so glad he's still in this thing. Vorst back here trying to get the spot away. Him and Judd Danielson going at it now, side by side, Sam, right off the turn.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, Sam.
Why have we never made a Wreck-It Ralph pun with Ralph Forster?
We have now.
I'm not saying he's a reckless driver, but is a guy in a racing video game with the name Ralph.
Well, you better be careful here because Danielson is really working hard to take this position away from the inside. Look at Eisenhower on the move. All of a sudden, somebody's got new life. Adam Eisenhower screaming up from 6th spot here, trying to take it away from Danielson now all of a sudden.
Eisenhower is one of the ones who's made this highline work. Not the first time we've seen this today, but it's been a while since we've had a lot of short runs going around the Texas Motor Speedway here. Let's not forget, Eisenhower was sliding through the grass early on in this race. Now he's got his truck gathered back underneath him, still got a lot of green thrown over it from where the grass got on his track, or maybe that's his paint scheme. But either way, he is coming back up through the order here in that 86 truck.
He is, Sam. Up in front of him, Michael Dullard's truck starting to get a little faster. He is starting to track on Jeff Martin. Martin has had a little bit of comfort up there for a while, but I think it's starting to get a lot around the collar. Dullard looks awful good right now. That truck is, well, last lap around was a full 2/100ths of a second faster, and he continues to close. Danny Rogers trying to get back in the mix here. He's trying to pull off a pass on Eisenhower, or maybe just follow him here to get around Danielson. Or maybe try and pick up the 2-for-1. We know the truck had speed. Made an incredible save to stay in this race. Question is, can he get back up through the field?
Yeah, and all the excitement of his save, we kind of let it fly under the radar a little bit that Jeff Martin is now running up in second after starting 15th. Granted, he didn't turn a lap in qualifying, but still. 15, slowly worked his way up there. 5 seconds now back of Hartman, though, our race leader.
I would like to know what his opinion is of how he'll do at tracks that he really likes, as opposed to being in an adverse situation. He seemed to run awful good for someone who didn't kind of seem very happy about going into this race tonight. But good stuff. Dullard, you got to watch out, though, over his shoulder. Dullard is still on the move back here. He's not quite dead yet, Sam.
He's not, and let's not forget also that there's still a pit stop coming up for all of these drivers. They do not have enough gas to get to the end of this race.
Sam, and that window coming up here really soon, about 38 to 42 laps in these trucks. Maybe just a little bit more if you're a little conservative on the fuel. But, yeah, that window going to open up for him here in just the next several laps. I don't know if I want to be out on the tires, though, for as long as the run will take. I'd rather try and squeeze that to as little as possible left. Hartman, though, is just checked out. I mean, he's living in his own world up there.
Johnson in. The first of our scheduled pit stops, Joe Johnson, comes in, and this is going to call the rest of them into the pits.
Yeah, I don't know if the championship drivers are coming in, Sam. I think they're going to race on here for a little bit. I mean, Hartman's got no pressure at this point. As long as he executes a clean pit stop, easy for me to say, he'll be in good shape here. And of course, a caution flag changes everything, right, Sam? The field, though, running really well, and not too much danger to be found at the moment, as the tight, really hard racing has kind of seemed to spread out just a little bit, except for that battle for 6th right now. And Eisenhower, Rogers, and Donahue still all going at it, trying to chase down Judd Danielson.
This is becoming the kind of race we're used to seeing from Mike Donahue, in that we don't see him a whole lot until we get to the end and we realise, hey, That 70 truck is up there in the top 10 or the top 5, and he's going to come home with a bunch of points today. Still a long ways to go before we can say that for him, though. Jeff Martin really off a pace down the front straight. I wonder if he got the wall coming out of 4. Michael Dullard is now up into 2nd.
Sam, he did. You're absolutely right. He is going to lick it coming off of 4. Actually, right into the entrance of the dog leg is where he caught it. We've got it actually on the replay here. You'll see it. He's going to get through 4 a little bit higher than he probably should have been. And truck's going to just find its way up to the wall with a little bit of push here off the exit.
I think he just did it again. Ralph Volstead just got... So, okay, I have a feeling Martin needs to come in the pits.
Sam, same spot. Exact same spot. You're absolutely right. He hit it again. And this brings Danielson. Danielson coming down on the bottom like a rocket.
I really think it would be advantageous to that 15 to come in. I mean, he's one who can afford to play a strategy like that because it's he's not racing for points. "37 laps left to go in this race. A pit stop left for everyone except for Joe Johnson. Will be interesting seeing where that 18 truck comes out after all of this. Adam Eisenhower, he comes in, another points racer.
Things getting a little dicey up here with Ralph Force trying to hang on to the 3rd spot. Here comes Judd Danielson back. And there's Jeff Martin now after that stop. He's moving up through the field just behind them.
Oh, and Jeff Martin coming in.
Yeah, Martin coming in now for that stop, Sam.
So, yep, he might be watching the broadcast for all we know. McFarland comes in behind him.
Well, dominoes starting to fall here all of a sudden.
Still no championship drivers.
Yeah, 5th is good here. Donahue continuing to work his way up. He is tracking on Rogers. Right in Rogers' draft here, coming through the front stretch of the dog leg there into turn 1. A lot of ground can be made up or lost here. Donahue decides to take that little bit higher line there up middle of the groove. And he got the truck to turn, gets a decent run down the backstretch here. Egg looks to inside, going 3.
And behind them on track, Adam Eisenhower is leading a race of trucks who are pitted. He was just able to hold off Joe Johnson, and Jeff Martin, who just rejoined the track, is out behind Johnson and behind Eisenhower. So, Eisenhower hoping this goes green to the end. He could be sitting in the catbird seat.
Oh, scary moment for Mike Donahue. Oh, wow. Coming off of turn 2. Truck got a little bit loose as he was right up next to up to Danny Rogers. And I think maybe he was just looking for safety down there, but certainly got him off pace and now clearly behind Danny Rogers. Look at that. Oh, that's a wild ride down there. You got to get back up on track, and then you got to find your line going into turn 3 there again real quick. That's not easy.
Forced into the pits once again. Not a playoff contender. Our playoff contenders really trying not to get caught a lap down. But, I mean, while things stay green, Sean, gotta wonder how much longer can they go before one of them finally bites the bullet?
Yeah, that's a good question. William Hartman is just throttling these guys right now tonight. He really is. This Toyota truck, the premier Toyota, Sam, is really, really hooked up at Texas Motor Speedway tonight. The driver's hooked up, the truck's hooked up, and they are right now in the best. They've got the best shot to win this race if it stays green. I think that's pretty obvious. I'm overstating the point of obvious right now. Hartman has just been a master behind the wheel here tonight.
Rogers in. Rogers spinning on pit entry. And the number 5 Chevy Silverado, again, not racing for points. He's going to take a tow from the pits and unfortunately retire from the race because he was pretty much just out here for the win today. He's not going to get the win doing that.
Shame. It was a good truck tonight. We saw some good things out of the 5. Shame he got sideways there, getting in the pit lane. That's one less truck everybody's got to worry about now at this point, Sam.
Yeah, we'll keep bringing up a story of those playoff drivers. All of our trucks who have hit trouble tonight, all of the playoff contenders, with the exception of McFadden, having solid performances so far. So with Fetty and Scala being no-shows and McFadden having a poor result, the other 5 fighting for 4 spots in the playoffs, of which, of course, Hartman already has one locked down from his win at Martinsville.
Jed Danielson really trying to find a way to get around Michael Dullard at the moment. Not happening. Here comes Eisenhower. Now, Eisenhower is already pit. He is a lap down, but you see those fresh tires coming around and coming around quickly.
Dullard running him all the way up to the top of the track there. Danielson running Dullard down for position. 10 seconds between Hartman and Dullard. So not only does that mean Eisenhower's got to go another 10 seconds around to catch up with William Hartman and unlap himself, but Hartman, and he pits now. I almost think Hartman can get away with pitting here and coming back out on the lead lap.
I think so, Sam. He's rolling it down now. I expect him to get as much fuel as he needs and
Dullard in too.
Yeah, I think you're going to see everybody come in now that hasn't yet. Yeah, there goes Ray Richer.
You know what I think triggered this is that Hartman saw that Eisenhower had cleared the traffic that he was trying to unlap himself from, and he realised, okay, if I don't pit now, I'm going to be racing Eisenhower for the lead of this race. Eisenhower is coming through turn 4 right now.
That's all right. Hartman is rolling, Sam.
Well, Eisenhower is going to get the lead from him temporarily, perhaps, but Hartman will have much fresher tyres now.
There we go. Not quite up to speed yet, but he's there. That won't take long. I don't think this is going to take long here. Hartman is going to scream out of the box here with those fresh tires. He probably will catch Eisenhower here within about 2 laps, Sam. This will be a good battle to watch. Danielson is in. He's in his stall, and he's away.
Yeah, Daniel Jackson currently leads this race. Once again, playing the alternate strategy. He's still out there. Rusko is running in second. And then the battle, essentially, for the win is a battle that we're keeping an eye on for 3rd place right now. And here comes William Hartman. And that could very well be the pass for the win today. It was a fairly easy one. I'm sure William Hartman will tell us this was a hard one in the post-race interview, Sean, but he's not making it look it.
Well, listen, no, he's not making it look it. It is a hard one, Sam. This track, again, very, very tough. And whereas Hartman is making it look easy, I bet you he's sweating just a bit. Every lap, you've got to be just absolutely focused to your line. You've got to know where the trouble spots are at. You've got to know how to avoid getting into trouble in those spots. And you've got to put it all together here over 132 laps tonight, Sam. It's not easy for anybody. I mean, we've seen the speeds that they're traveling right now. They're still running 31 and 32-second laps. This is a very, very fast track, and the trucks are full throttle tonight here on the Global SimRacing Channel.
And for what it's worth, even with 2 trucks not having pit yet, they're so off a pace right now that we still have 10 trucks on the lead lap. Daniel Jackson and Russ Coe are hoping for a caution in about another 5 to 10 laps from now that will bring everyone into the pits.
Oh, wait a minute. We got somebody on the backstretch here, low. Russ Coe. Okay, Russ Coe pulling off the track, Sam.
I think it's a bit more than that here, Sean. There's smoke coming out of that machine. He'd been running in second place. And Martin is sliding through the grass and hard into the inside wall.
Uh-oh.
Now, we're getting a replay of what happened to Coe, but then we'll catch up with what happened to the driver of the 15.
All right, watching Russ Coe here. Something's off there. Sam, maybe he's having a hardware problem. I don't know, but here he's going to peel off, stop the truck. Oh, did they? Boy, no, he doesn't peel off. Obviously, the truck got sideways. I wonder if he was fiddling with his wheels. Something was going on, but that truck's in there smoking really bad. Now let's look at what happened to Jeff Martin. We track him coming around. His truck's going to suffer heavy damage too here, Sam, and he wraps it hard. It's down across the infield, into the pit lane, and it avoids the caution flag coming out.
It's one of those crashes that makes you think I should consider building a wall there alongside the pit entrance. And stop trucks from sliding into pit road.
Ah, that's a hard hit. Well,
but as you mentioned, we stay green.
We do, and Daniel Jackson owns that lead, but Sam, he's running out of time here, and he's running out of fuel. It's just a matter of time before he's got to bring that truck in. Right now, this run he's on about 45 laps. It's down to just under 8 seconds. Hartman closing quickly here. Making major gains on every inch of this track. Hartman continues to close. Now it's under 7 seconds, 6.5 seconds. Oh, Judd Danielson, Ralph Forrest.
Danielson with much newer tyres. Well, I'll take that back. Slightly newer tyres than the driver of a 66. Enough to gain a position, that's for sure. Jackson is coming in. And once again, Sean, we've seen the driver of a Sadie 4 play different strategy calls to the rest of the field today. This time not gonna pan out too well for him. He will have a newer tyres, though, for the last 16 laps.
We need to hook him up with our old friend James Carhula and talk about that alternate strategy.
Well, we'll get to see James Carhula in action in just a few moments here over on the iRacing Esports channel. GSRC will be covering tonight's Lionheart IndyCar Series race from another 1.5 mile track, Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Indy cars at Charlotte. Great memories of the Indy Racing League, the old IRL there. Going to be bad fast, Sam. I hope you're ready, bud.
Well, Monday's practice race went well, so we'll see how things go down. But first, we got a race here to wrap up, and things looking good for William Hartman now, who leads this race. He's already locked into the finale at Homestead. This isn't going to earn him any more bonus points, obviously. They'll all go into that championship four with their points pretty much equalized. However, it's definitely a great momentum builder. But let's give a shout out to the driver running in second, because Adam Eisenhower, particularly over in the APRO Challenger Series, the APRO 360 Challenger Series, where he competes for points over there, he's had a lot of bad luck recently. It's nice to see him about to bring home, knock on wood, anything bad happening in the last 10 or so laps here, about to bring home a second place finish.
Yeah, nice to see the league sponsor there, the SimSpeed shop, Chevrolet having a solid run tonight. 9 spots. Man started in 11th. Oh, there's Jeremy Crandall back there coming in the pit, Sam. But, yeah, I got to imagine Adam's got to be pretty happy right now, and he's feeling it with just over 13 laps here to get into victory, or to get into the, or at least into the podium celebration tonight.
It's one position short then where he came up earlier this season here. Sean, this is actually the series' second visit to Texas this season, and Eisenhower was the one who took away the victory when they came here all the way back in May.
Sam, I honestly think the best battle we've got left on this track right now is Danielson and Borst. I don't think... I'm sorry, Danielson and Dullard. My bad, Ralph, a little bit further back, but Dullard is on his way to giving up this 3rd spot to Judd Danielson. Dullard has a handful of truck right now. Danielson is on the move. 12 laps to sort it out.
The advantage going to the driver of 31 of Michael Dullard right now. In 3rd place, the 17 of Judd Danielson. Our 2nd highest playoff contender on track right now. In fact, let's run those 7 drivers down for you. Currently our highest playoff... Oh no, here we go, never mind. They're side by side for 3rd, or they almost were. Danielson took a look. Didn't happen that time, bye. But yeah, William Hartman is our highest running playoff contender, obviously leading the race. This is our 2nd highest driver, Judd Danielson, running back here in 4th place. Mike Donoghue is the 3rd highest, running in 6th position. Actually just made the pass on our 4th highest playoff runner, Ray Richer, who drops to 7th. And that's as far as I'm going with that, because this battle for 3rd is once again on hot and heavy as they come down to turn 1.
Hang on, Judd. Hang on. Don't make a mistake here. I'd like to have those 3rd place points, but man, you get the points, period. Right, Sam? 3rd, 4th, doesn't matter. Give me the points.
It's not like Danielson has much to gamble right now. I mean, this is a solid performance, as you mentioned, and he comes into this race 2nd in the points. The only person beating him is Hartman, who won at Martinsville.
Oh boy. They're going to parade around this track over the last 9 laps. Side by side. Dullard doing a really good job there from the top side of keeping the truck in control. He's the tires on that truck a little bit better.
Danielson trying to make a slow line work. Man, it's completely evenly matched.
They're starting to reel in Danielson. I mean Eisenhower, Sam.
Yeah, much fresher rubber. They are going to catch Adam here. Oh boy, 2 storms about to collide. 7 laps left to go. Remember, we will finish this race on the green.
It's going to get spicy.
And for the record, all this now going on 16 seconds behind our race leader, William Hartman.
I'm giving William Hartman an attaboy. We'll just leave it at that. We're going to focus on this battle behind him. Oh, Eisenhower ran all the way up towards the wall. That really killed his momentum. Here they come, Sam, down the front stretch through the dog leg. The attack is on.
Oh, Dullard able to get a nice run off a 4. Use the draft of Eisenhower. Now he takes Danielson's line away from him to complete the slide job. Maybe.
Here comes Danielson. No! Did you see how close that was? He almost got full into Dullard there, got him around.
And their battle resumes. It's like Eisenhower never even existed. They both go by, they go back to right where they were before.
Well, see, this little bit of draft, though, is going to help Eisenhower run. All of a sudden, that car has got legs again because of the draft.
So Dullard might safely be in second here if Danielson has to go defensive, but no, the draft is dropping away from Eisenhower. And this battle for second will resume. And now Dullard trying to... I don't like the looks of that, Sean. He just needs to run his own line. It's been working for him. Now he's trying to get defensive on Danielson, and I think that's just going to hurt him.
It might end his race if he's not careful. 4 laps to get it done, Sam. 4 to go. Got a lot of fans out here on the chat, the YouTube chat, pulling for Ike.
Well, he's safely back in fourth now. I mean, he might get second if this gets ugly in front of him, but he's got 6 seconds over Ralph Forstay back in 5th place. By the way, Sean, I solved our problem. We need to call him Race It Ralph.
Race It Ralph. There you go. All right, Race It Ralph. Well, Dullard finally able to get a little separation with a good run out of 4. He's able to put a little distance between him and Judd Danielson. Danielson coming back out of 2. He'll get a run down the back stretch. They'll be fighting out of turn 4.
Speaking of 2, that's what the flagman just told Hartman, 2 the go. As we watch this battle for second, going through turns 3 and 4, they're about to get their 2 the go sign.
Oh boy.
Eisenhower in trouble behind him.
Oh no.
He went through the grass, he comes back on, he's still in 4th.
Hit the wall coming out of 4, and he does a great job of pulling that car or that truck back up on track. But they're still fighting in front of him, Sam. Dullard just barely hanging on to this here.
And the white flag is out for Hartman as this battle continues. On for second. And we'll have 17 seconds after we watch Hartman take a checkered flag to come back and see how this sim wraps up. So let's hand it over to our camera guy over in turns 3 and 4, because Hartman is coming around the last turn right now, and he is going to go back-to-back with wins at Martinsville and tonight at Texas.
Oh, and Toyota's going to dominate the top 3, but Dullard almost ended it out of 2. Here comes Judd Danielson into 3. He's down there on the bottom. Can he get the run off of 4? Will they get side by side at the line? It's going to be really close. Look at the run by Danielson. They make contact. They're both spinning down to the bottom. Danielson's going to keep going. He's going to finish second in this race. And Michael Dullard is going to slide across in 3rd. No. Adam Eisenhower is actually going to get that 3rd spot. Nope. Dullard's going to fall to 4th.
No, Dullard got it by a 10th.
Did he?
He slid through the grass just ahead of Eisenhower. And when we get a replay of this, Sean, you'll see it was Dullard's mistake. Dullard got loose. Hopefully we'll get an aerial view of it. Dullard got loose up high, slid down into Danielson. Danielson, who had a lot more to lose, did a marvellous job at pointing his truck in the right direction. And here we'll get an aerial view. Watch the truck up high. Michael Dullard in the 31. The rear end steps out as he's trying to get back on the power out of 4, and that's what triggers a contact.
Boy, oh boy. And he's just going to slide across there in 3rd. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, that was really close. Poor Ike. Ike almost put it on the podium there, but a good slide by Dullard puts him there on the podium. What a finish, Sam.
What a finish indeed. And we'll get to talk to all of the drivers involved in it in just a couple of moments here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Don't go away.
Wow, that was the Lefty 200 here on the Global SimRacing Channel. And if you just missed the finish, when I'm done and we're done going over the results and talking to the drivers, you've got to go back and watch the replay of the last couple of laps of this race. So we got a green flag finish this evening. No green-white checkers here. Let's go through the results now, as they are pretty fun to look at. William Hartman runs away with this tonight. Look at that, a 19-second win here at Texas Motor Speedway for Hartman in the 67. Judd Danielson is going to be your second-place finisher in a number 17. Michael Dullard will take that third, sliding across the line. Adam Eisenhower just missing out there, will finish fourth. Ralph Forrest, a good run for him. He'll finish fifth. Sixth goes to Mike Donahue, who had another good run this evening. Ray Richer, seventh for him, and we barely talked about him tonight. Sorry, Ray, you had a good run. Daniel Jackson has got to settle for eighth. That off strategy just didn't help him out there. He could have used a caution flag. He never got it. Robert Farland, the double auto, finished ninth. Joe Johnson going to finish 10th in his car, the Toyota Tundra, the truck. And 11th going to go to Jeremy Crandall. Russ Coe going to be 12th. He had to pull out there. He missed the finish by just about 12 laps. Jeff Martin, another casualty, a little early. The other 15 will finish 13th. 14th for Danny Rogers. 15th for Scott Seaman. Gary Sheldon with the 16th place finish. Sean Callis, 17th in the 43. Mark McFadden finishes 18th. Fetty and Baird never started this race, and boy, it was a good one. And we've got some excited drivers ready to talk to us. Our race winner down in victory lane now, William Hartman, feeling pretty good about a victory, I'm sure. William, congratulations. You know, we talked about the fact that you were making it look easy. It wasn't easy, was it?
No, for sure was not easy. Definitely just had a really, really good night overall. Things kind of fell the way that they needed to for us to have success. And it definitely wasn't easy. It was a fun night. I really love this track, so that kind of helped out a lot. But, yeah, it was definitely a really, really fun race. And again, amazing run by these guys to go green as long as we did in that last stage. It makes it a heck of a lot of fun.
Now, William, this is a home track for me. Okay, I've been to Texas Motor Speedway since the day it opened. I've gotten to do a ride around a couple times here at the track. I've also raced it a lot in iRacing, and it's one of my favorites. How much focus, I saying this to the race fans during the broadcast, that the amount of focus it was taking, this was my counterpoint to Sam about making it look easy. The focus just has to be incredible here, especially with the trouble spots off of turn 2, the dog leg in and around traffic, and just that entry into turn 1 alone is enough to make the mere mortal man just shiver in his boots.
Yeah, from the first lap to the last, you got to be really on top of it and stay in the game the whole time. Like you said, you lose focus for 1 second, and the trucks, you know, it's a really great track. It's actually probably my favorite intermediate track on the circuit. But it definitely will punish you if you get lackadaisical on it. It definitely keeps you on your toes the whole time. You got to stay focused. So I think that's a great observation, and definitely something that I concentrated on tonight, trying to keep focus and make sure I was hitting my marks each and every lap.
Well, to win it by the margin that you did, obviously things had to work perfectly for you tonight, and because you know and I know the field behind you pretty darn good. And I don't think it was them missing the mark as just as much as it was you just absolutely nailing it tonight. Congratulations. You're already locked in. You're already looking forward to that championship race. We got to get to Phoenix in a couple of weeks. Are you okay with that? Are you going to be able to focus to keep this momentum going?
Yeah, I think so. Phoenix, actually one of the tracks I look forward to the most. It's by far my favorite track. And so, you know, really looking forward to going in that with a little bit less pressure and actually go there and have a lot of fun. And kind of decided to play Homestead like I would any other race. I think if I put too much emphasis on it, it leads to mistakes. So we're just going to focus on Phoenix next, and we'll worry about Homestead the week of.
All right, and who makes it go for the number 67 Premier Toyota?
Oh, I got to thank all the guys over at Savage Drive. Special shout out to Kevin. Unfortunately, couldn't make it tonight, but I know he was out there watching, so got to send a shout out to him. All the guys over at the Sim Speed Shop Truck Series for putting on a great league for us. It's awesome to race out here with all these guys. And then you guys for a great broadcast. you guys do an amazing job, and it's a really cool thing that you do.
Well, we appreciate the compliment. We love what we do, William, and we love covering you guys. We'll see you in a couple weeks in Phoenix. And now waiting on deck is got to be a very happy Judd Danielson. I can't wait to talk to him about that last lap and how it all unfolded. Where we go, we've got maybe I thought we were going to talk to Judd. Oh, there he is. Okay, hang on just a moment. There's Judd. Judd,
hey,
we had trouble getting down there on the podium. You got to walk me through that last lap, man. What was going on there?
Biggest thing is we were racing with almost no tires left. There was I've had a lot of races this year that just have not worked out, and I put my effort and time into this. Did some practice with the Savage Boys, and I decided that I was going to just keep hitting these marks, no matter how fully loaded that rear tire was. The right rear needed to be saved. I'm sorry, the right front needed to be saved, and I just concentrated on as best I could to not tear that thing up tonight.
Yeah, I heard they actually started a GoFundMe page for your right front tire there towards the end, Judd. Man, that race off of turn 4, though, you get together with Michael and I
think it was just a situation where I knew that I had enough left in that bottom. If I could just keep it on the bottom and run it off, he hadn't been pinching me down that whole run, and I think he just pushed a little bit off that wall. Yeah. Not that he touched it. I don't know if he did, but I think he just kind of kept it off a little bit further, wanted to finish the race, which, that was awesome racing with him. That was good. I had a blast tonight with Michael. That was fun.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Listen, you had been running that low line all night. Now, apparently that's your favorite way to get around this track. Does that line, does it go away from you a little bit quicker when you're running that hard down there?
No, because I let off way, way sooner than these guys are. I mean, okay. I was watching William. I was definitely watching these guys run that high line. But my crew chief explained to me before the race, he's like, listen, these guys are going to run up there, and they're going to run up there as long as they can. Well, then where are they going to go? You stay down on that bottom. You keep grabbing 2 and 4 and 2 and 4 and 2 and 4. And eventually, as that thing wears out, we're going to use the whole track. That's exactly what I ended up doing. I stayed out of that high line, tried to keep it on the bottom as much as I could. I could get my runs off, and you saw me catch Dullard. I mean, I just slowly worked my way forward to him.
Well, you did, and it's a second place finish. Sam had brought up towards the end there, you're running so well, talked about all the bad luck you've had in the Challenger season, in the Challenger Series this season. Got to feel pretty good to get a really solid run here tonight at Texas.
Oh, I'm going to sleep like a baby tonight, guys. It's been a long, long season, especially these playoffs now. And then the Challenger side of it, I try to go in there and race these guys hard. I mean, I have to race up there next year. So it's going to be a situation where a lot of these drivers, I probably don't know them, and some of them will move up to Cup maybe. But I try to give the room and be the respectful side. They're all racing for a championship up there. I just want to go up and go faster. So the big thing up there is experience for me, and I try to stay out of their way. But, yeah, I mean, my biggest concern is to try to chase William down. But, I mean, he's another alien we're dealing with here. And, I mean, it's wonderful. I mean, the guy is super, super cool, very, very helpful. And we just love having him in the series. We really do.
Well, we love having you on the track. It was awful fun watching you get around here tonight in your Toyota. It was kind of a Toyota dominant top 3. You guys swept the top 3 in your Tundras. Congratulations. We'll see you in a couple weeks in Phoenix. You going to run with us?
You bet you do. I'll be there.
All right. Awesome.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, Judd. We'll talk to you next time. That's Judd Danielson, driver of the number 17 Toyota Tundra truck. And, it was a great finish for him. We're going to talk to the third place driver, Mike Dullard, who we saw back up across the line. Mike, that was a pretty wild finish. I think we might see that again at some point somewhere. Why don't you walk us through it there?
Oh, man. How did you guys like that one?
It's good racing, man.
First off, I've got to give a huge shout out to Judd. That last half of that last segment was awesome racing with him. He kept it clean with me. We were both running out of tires there at the end. And, I think we ran out with about 5 to go, and we were both just hammered down. I mean, you'd have thought we were racing for the win. That was just awesome.
Yeah, you were racing for the win. because, well, a win of your own, because William Hart was just in a whole other zip code there towards the end of the race. Mike, it was a lot of fun watching you guys, and a couple of Midwest drivers too. That's got to feel good. It's almost like battling with one of your neighbors, isn't it?
Yeah, you can think about it that way. But yeah, like you said, William, he was just out there cruising. I mean, that guy had it from the drop of the green flag. He was fast in practice and qualifying, and I don't think anybody had anything for him. That's how it is every week. I mean, the guy's just phenomenal. So if you can beat him, you've done something.
Well, yeah, you weren't far off from doing that tonight, at least in the first couple stages. I got to be honest, this was probably one of the best playoff races we've had yet. Yeah, we picked up a couple cautions, but boy, this was a good run this evening in these trucks.
Yeah, it was a driver's track tonight. I mean, you'd get out there and 1 minute the truck would be plowing like a dump truck, and the next minute it'd be sliding like you were on ice. It was a blast. This was probably my favorite race so far across the season, aside from Eldora, but we all know how that one ended up. So I think I'd chalk this one up to number one.
Nice. Well, hey, listen, congratulations again on a really solid run tonight. Any big plans going forward? And Mike, we head to Phoenix. Any big plans for that track?
Finish. That's
Finish.
big
All
plan.
right.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, hey, listen, we wish you the best till then, and we'll talk to you soon, hopefully.
All right. Thanks, guys, for everything you do.
All right, and thank you, Mike Dullard. His number 31 Toyota Tundra makes it home in third, sliding across the line there at the end. Hey, listen, we have people to thank. I want to thank my partner, Sam Ryman, who is now seated in his virtual IndyCar with the Lionheart IndyCar Series tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway on the Oval on the iRacing Esports Network. You can head on over there whenever you're ready. But I do want to thank LeftyPro.com. They, of course, the sponsor tonight of the Lefty 200 here at Texas Motor Speedway. Lefty Production has over 10 years experience in digital media production. They specialize in aerial, drone, video, and photography, as well as commercial video production, motion, graphics, editing, and filmmaking. Yes, they make films. Let them help you turn your ideas into reality. They will go anywhere to meet your needs. Lefty Productions is a licensed commercial drone operator. Contact Gary over there at gary@leftypro.com. And we have plenty others to thank here. Let's get started on that. We would like to thank all of the organizers and competitors of the Simulated Stock Car Association and the Sim Speed Shop Truck Series for coming out here tonight and putting on a great show for us. We would like to thank all the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast. There you see them listed on your screen now. Additional thanks always goes out to Eric Ekholm and June Lalonde, who provide us with our great music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of their great work. In fact, Eric Ekholm's music, you can get straight to his YouTube page. Down in the description here, we've got a link to get to his YouTube page. Just put that up recently, and go check out some of June's stuff. So there we go. I'm sorry, Eric's stuff there. We're also on social media on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook. Just go over there and type in Global SimRacing Channel. You'll find us there. Instagram, GSRC_Graham. Listen, if you haven't subscribed to us on YouTube yet, what are you doing? Hit the red button, subscribe to us. You'll stay up to date with what we've got going on. All of the upcoming races for other series are listed on your screen. Check those out, make note of them, mark them down on your calendar, and don't miss another exciting second of exciting racing action here on the Global SimRacing Channel. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and I'll see you on the track.